All right, so what we're looking at here today is the power of automations, right? So this client here had literally a 50 grand boost after installing just 5 automations, right? They were trading at 90 grand a month when I joined them. And then we built the stuff in June, and then boom, 50 grand a month extra, literally as easy as that. So, I mean, this company had been trading. So it's a bedding and luxury linen company. So they do duvets, pillows, pillow sheets, pillowcases, sheets, all that sort of stuff, but high-end stuff as well. And they'd actually been trading for 15 years at this point. So literally 15 years without automations. I mean, you can understand why people don't realize the power of it if they're already doing well. So they were doing 90K a month. I mean, that's pretty good. They were happy with it. But adding in these automations just boom, skyrocketed it again, growth that they hadn't seen ever really. They were only sending campaigns just, here and there, whatever. So these automations really just skyrocketed their conversion rate and first time purchase and repeat purchase immediately. So initially, just a bit of background about them. They started selling other brands and then eventually moved on to their own branded linen. To make it to the exact specifications that they like. I mean, the owner is obsessed with linen. He absolutely loves linen. So, a great client to have when someone is so obsessed with it. And they have a really great brand aesthetic and they do a lot of photo shoots as well. So, that makes my life easier. We just grab all their content, turn it into good emails and things. So yeah, I mean, as I said, I started working with them. They had no automations and I started in May 2024. So the first thing that we did was obviously build the 5 basic automations. So I'll get into that below. I mean, you could just see some screenshots here, 93 grand on the first month when we joined, and then boom, the next month, 144 grand. 30 of that for email, but you got to think that with this sort of increase, this crazy increase, there is 20 grand difference there, compared to what Klaviyo attributes. But you got to think that some of these extra 20 grand really did come from email, but they just didn't get attributed to email. So let's just have a look here, just so you know that I'm telling the truth. Here we are in their Klaviyo account, May 24, the full month, 93 grand. And then we'll just jump over to June. And then here you see 144 grand. And yeah, for some reason it says 31 here. Not really sure why. But anyway, here you go, 28 grand in flows. So at the time, we actually took over from another agency that was managing their emails. And unfortunately, this previous agency, they weren't that nice. They were really annoyed to lose the client and they just didn't want to share the data at all. So in order to start campaigns, we had to do a warming process. So that's by sending campaigns to smaller audiences, past purchasers, people who are really active on the site. So you really have to start small and then gradually increase it. So that's why campaigns was only 3 grand here, because we couldn't start blasting the whole list immediately. But I'll show you the full numbers later on about where they're at now and how the campaigns and the flows are doing now. But anyway, let's jump back to this. So the background, they were built on Shopify from day one. So again, that was really great because that means all their customer data was already on Shopify. There was no migration. It was all linked in Shopify. So Klaviyo and Shopify link really, really well. So that helps out a lot. As I said, they were doing 90 grand a month, no automation set up. They had a low conversion rate. So that's what the automations can do. All the pre-purchase automations, they really boost up the conversion rate. So if people were visiting the site, they wouldn't convert at a high enough rate. So they didn't have anything set up to bring customers back, to get repeat purchases. So, obviously we set up an automation for that. They had no list growth strategy at all. They relied solely on past purchases. So their entire list was past purchases. Maybe a few people signed up to the embed form at the bottom of the site, but very, very few. And again, they were completely relying on campaigns, just here and there to get a boost, but there was no proper structure. They weren't sending enough. But anyway, this case study is just about the power of automations, but I'll show you how good the campaigns are doing at the end. So basically the objectives, these are the core 5 automations that you need to get set up. If you haven't set up these 5 automations or you haven't, optimized them properly, they're not bringing in good revenue. These are the 5 core ones. You could add in the site abandon flow as well. But, for me, these are the 5 important ones. So starting with the welcome flow. In order to get people into the welcome flow, you've got to create a high converting pop-up. As I said, they didn't have a pop-up at all. They were just relying on people who made a purchase or signed up to the embed form. We set that up for them and boom, immediately it started going. So let's just take a look. Let's take a look at now, today. So this is last 30 days. And as you can see here, this flow, this first email in the welcome series is making 16.2 grand in the last 30 days. So, really, really powerful there. The first email in the welcome series is always going to make the most money. And generally speaking, for the first email in the welcome series, it's just a coupon delivery system. You do want to put in some reviews in there. You want to put in some, objection busting things, trust building things, return period, the satisfaction guarantee, customer service stuff. It's really important to put all that stuff in, but really it's just all about delivering that coupon, which appeared on the sign up form. So we'll just take a quick look at this email just to show you what it looks like. All right, so here we go. They got the Trustpilot reviews up there. That's really important. A nice image of some of their bedding. This was a photo shoot they did. And then shop now, get a button straight up there. This is the code here. Obviously, it doesn't look like that when someone gets it. It actually just gives a code. This is the dynamic code that Klaviyo provides. And then another CTA, use my code. You got to play around with the wording a little bit, get people interested. And then we also do a little thing here to say up to 55% off. So on the site, they do have currently discounted items. And with the extra 10%, they could get 55% off. But obviously, most of their stuff is full price. So really, it's just 10%. But this just kind of puts a little, psychological thing in people's mind that, oh, I could save even more. All right, let me check it out. So then they go for it. And then just a collection button here. This is a super high-end range that they have on the site, the Supima bed linen. And then going down, we put the code again just to, reiterate it, make it in red, make it bold. And then some collection buttons. So really, really important in any welcome series. People, when they come on, they sign up, they might not know exactly what they're looking for. They might not know, where to navigate to it exactly. So it's super important to put collection buttons in there so that people can navigate to exactly something that they're looking for. And then just a bit more about the, the business and to build some trust. And then, a shop all, browse all the bedding, and then some more collection buttons. Then we have a little GIF here about come see what's new. I like putting that because, it shows that they're always adding products and people are interested in new stuff. And then the 0% finance at the bottom. I always put this in emails if a client offers it, just to let people know, it is expensive, but if you want to spread the cost, here we go, you can do it. And then also this customer service thing here to help. If they click that, they go to a form and they can, fill out the details or just call a number. This client does that. They have a phone line for people to talk to on the phone. So, I mean, that's the welcome series. Like, we do 4 emails for this client. Often we put in some urgency. Your code is valid for 4 more days. That's important. This one here makes 2.7K. And then this one here is talking about a typical problem with bed linen. It's about sheets popping off. So we make sure to put that in there as well. And then finally, the last email, your code is about to expire. Interestingly, this hasn't done anything in the last 30 days, but I know for a fact that it does convert. So let's just look at 365. All right, so nearly 10 grand over the last year. So, that's the last email. It is still converting. Just a bit weird that it didn't convert in the last 30 days there. So after that, let's jump on to the abandoned checkout. So the abandoned cart and the abandoned checkout flow, they're very, very similar. They're just one stage removed. So you get to your cart and then you get to your checkout, and the checkout is obviously the last one. So they are very similar, and we do set up a very similar structure with it. So I'll just go through one of them, and you can get a gist of what both will be like. So generally speaking, I do not offer a coupon in the very first email for the abandoned checkout or cart flow. Most of the time, we just say your cart is reserved. We've reserved your products for you, but we can't reserve it for long. And as you can see here, it's still making really good sales. So this is last 30 days. So 3.8K on this email alone. And if we just look at the second email, so that's an SMS, and you can see there, this one here about to expire is making a lot less, even though we put a code in this one. So, all these people who have added to cart or got to the checkout, they're really, really hot. They just need that extra nudge. And that's why you don't have to put a code in the first email. So it really preserves margin there for you as well. I mean, people get distracted. All sorts of stuff happens. While they add something to cart, they get to checkout and, they get pulled away. They just need that extra little reminder to say, hey, come get it. It's still here, and then boom, it helps remind them and brings them back and they make that purchase. So anyway, let's look at the structure of this. Abandoned cart checkout, email 1, no code. And then we do send an SMS just a couple hours later. So that one's made a few hundred quid in the last 30 days. But obviously only SMS subscribers can get that. And then another 20 hours later, we send the second email. And in this one, we say your cart reserve is about to expire, but here's a code. So this is where we introduce the code, as I said. And then the next day, your coupon is about to expire. And then that makes a few extra sales as well. So again, these are a little bit low, but let's just check out 365 days. I mean, I guess, we're doing a good job converting people straight away. Oh, that's got a bit glitchy. Let's have a look. All right, get back down to that. So yeah, here's email 2, which was at 300, but now in the whole of the year, yeah, it's made about 10 grand. Email 3, it's made about 8 grand in the whole year. And then we do another SMS, a final SMS, for anyone who still hasn't purchased. And that's made a few hundred over the year. Whatever. It's good enough. You just set it up and forget about it. And then email 4. So let me just show you email 4, because this is a real interesting one. And, I don't see a lot of businesses doing this, right? What this email is just a check-in, a text-based email purely, so it looks super personal, but it's just a check-in asking why they didn't make a purchase. Was there something wrong with the site? Is there anything that we can improve about our site? And very often you get replies to this, and people reply back and say, oh yeah, I just was shopping between this and this, or, I'm waiting for payday, or, I wasn't sure if you had this product. I mean, this is all pure gold because you could just reply to them and help them out. Sometimes it even helps identify problems in a business. With one client, we had an issue with PayPal, and PayPal wasn't working. We started getting loads of replies saying, yeah, PayPal didn't work. So we caught it really, really quick because of this email, diagnosed the problem, and got PayPal working again. I mean, you can imagine how long that problem would take to resolve if you didn't have this email and people telling you, hey, PayPal's not working. It could have gone on for weeks. So 4 emails in the abandoned cart and abandoned checkout. Let's just take a look at one of the emails. Let's look at the one with the coupon. So there will be something missing here. So in between here, because I'm just looking at a preview, but in between here, there is a dynamic block showcasing an image of the product and the title of the product. So it shows exactly what the person had in their cart. So they're reminded of it, they look at it, they get excited about it again. And it really, really is, that's a core feature of Klaviyo, being able to showcase that, that product that they had in their cart. So here we go. We just deliver the coupon. In this case, we're just going with a static coupon. I like to do dynamic ones usually, but this case we did static. Some review in there. We also put the reviews, in other places. So here at the end, 0% financing as well. So in this case, we don't put the collection buttons, mainly because we just want people to reconsider what they had in their cart. So yeah, if they click that, they go directly back to the checkout phase and hopefully make their purchase. So now let's move on to another one here. So the browse abandoned flow. So again, you can see some good numbers here. This is last 30 days, 3.4K, 3.6K, interestingly higher on that one. And then the coupon expiring. So that's 1.27. And then, that one's, I don't know why that's there. It's just, it's not even turned on. So, right. So browse abandon is when someone views a product, but doesn't add to cart or get to checkout. And basically, I like to think about this like window shoppers. So someone's on the high street, they're walking by, they look in the window, they see a product, but they don't go in, right? Now imagine if on the high street, you could find that person 2 hours later and say, hey, you're still interested in this. I mean, that would work amazing, wouldn't it? But you can't do that on the high street, but you can do it with email marketing online. So anyone that looks at a product, you send them an email 2 hours later, say, hey, are you still interested? And again, this will have a dynamic product block, which will show them the exact product that they were looking at. And we do the usual stuff as well, the reviews, some good copywriting, some good customer service stuff in there, talking about, the refund policy, how to contact them if they have any questions. So really, really good flow this. Right. And then lastly, let's check out the thank you flow. So the thank you flow has 2 main objectives, right? First one is just good customer service, a good post-purchase experience for people who have made a purchase. They make the purchase and immediately they get the thank you. And as you can see here, people buy off of this email, right? I mean, it's not a huge amount, last 30 days, but people are actually purchasing immediately after they've made a purchase. So this showed you, like, when you give a good customer experience, like a post-purchase customer experience, they get excited to think, right, I've made the right choice. This business is good, right? I might just get something else. Let me check it out. And again, with this one, we don't offer any coupon at all. This is just pure thank you for your purchase. Let us know if you have any questions. And people are still buying. But also, the most important thing for this email is to try and prevent negative feedback, right? So in the email, we'll say, if you have any problems at all, I mean, let's just take a look at it. So we say, if you've got any problems at all, please reach out to us. So where are we? We're here to help. If you have any questions, need assistance to your order, these ladies will help you. Call us here or reply directly to this email. This is super, super important for managing negative feedback. If you don't open the door and allow people to contact you easily, if there's any problem at all, they may just get angry and leave a negative review. And then, of course, you got to fight the fire of, finding the review, figuring out who it is, and then backtracking and then trying to get them to remove it. I mean, it's just a huge hassle. Opening this door right now to let people contact you if there are any problems is a great way to avoid negative feedback. So, as I said, in this case, it's mainly just, thanks. And then here's a few collections to browse. But yeah, so we don't offer a coupon in that one, but in this one here, we do. So a token of appreciation, this is a no questions asked, use it whenever you like. And as you can see here, 1.5K. So this is 2 days after their purchase. They may not have even haven't received their purchase yet. I mean, they probably have, because these people do DPD. This client does DPD, next day delivery, but there is a chance they haven't received it yet or even used it yet. But they love this so much and they're so happy about it. We give them a coupon and then they come back and buy more immediately. Maybe they thought, oh yeah, there was that one thing, I should have added that to cart, or I want an extra one of these things, whatever. And then you give them a coupon. They're like, oh right, great. I'm gonna go buy it now. I can buy it now with a discount. And then finally, in this one here, we ask them for a review. How did you sleep? Tell us all about it. And this is just purely to get reviews and get feedback, but it still makes money. I mean, not a lot, but it still makes money. I mean, let's just check the last 365 for this email. I mean, look at that. So 4.4K just about in the whole year, just asking people to leave a review. I mean, this is how powerful email marketing is. You don't necessarily have to constantly push. It's just, hey, how you doing? And all right, I like this company. I'm going to make a purchase again. This is a great company. I'm happy I bought from them. So that post-purchase experience is mega important, and especially for driving repeat customers. When they feel that they made the right choice, it's confirmed their choice, they feel happy about themselves, they're going to come back and buy more. So, I mean, that's it. Those are the 5 flows. I mean, I know I only looked at one abandoned checkout, but again, the cart and the checkout, very similar flows. So there was no point going over both. But just those 5 flows added 50K in 1 month. I mean, this is the huge power of automations. Now, let's just take a look at what we're looking at now, what the business is doing now. So this was June 2024. Let's go last 30 days. And here you go. So 144 per month. Now they're at 217 per month. Let's check out campaigns. So now 45 grand per month with campaigns. Well, in the last 30 days. And then flows at 45 grand as well. And then email marketing is making up 41%. And that's 90 grand just with email marketing. Now, remember when I joined them, they were doing 90 grand total, 90 grand for all their entire store revenue. Now email marketing is making that alone. And of course, we added more flows, all the other flows down here. I mean, I won't get into all that. And then, of course, the campaigns, every single campaign is making money, 2.6, 4.2, 1.3, 3.4, it goes on and on. All the campaigns, every time we send a campaign, it's making money. We're sending 4 campaigns per month, per week. We're sending 4 campaigns per week. Every single one of them, it's making money. Right, so what's the conclusion? If you have not got automation set up, especially those 5 core automations, the welcome series, abandoned cart, abandoned checkout, browse abandoned, and thank you flow, get them set up now. I promise you, you will not regret it. It's going to boost your conversion rates. It's going to lower your customer acquisition costs, and it's going to increase your repeat customer rate as well. So, if you've got a business that's already making money, haven't got any automation set up, and you want to learn how to do these yourself, check out the link below on how to build the 5 core automations. And I've got a full mini course on that. It's a whole mini course with videos and, what to do, what to say, how to set them up. Check the link below. And if you want to work with me, check my Calendly link below as well. And yeah, that's it really. So I'll see you in the next one.